Alright, what's up everybody? Didn't really have an intro today. Didn't really have an intro or anything of setting up, but kind of a abrupt, no warning kind of thing for you guys. We're out on the Delta early in the morning, and I'm participating in the YAB class that's happening soon. Yeah. Launching out of Paradise Point this time around. Miles is not with me. I will be by myself. And we're gonna try and catch some fish. Game plan today is just have fun. Have fun, see if we can catch some fish. Yeah, because I think a lot of times that whenever I try to like have a game plan, I always kind of flop. But today, no game plan, just kind of out here fishing, see what'll happen, will not, just have fun. So we'll see you at the first spot. I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's a small striper boil out there right next to where we're gonna fish. Actually, we're gonna start off next to these first tule clumps. After we fish these tule clumps, we're gonna keep going down a little bit further. There's gonna be another patch of tule clumps, and we're just gonna be fishing tule clumps and off a little bit offshore because oh my goodness, I know it's a bass fishing tournament, but I'm gonna have to try and get one of these striper. Waste a little bit of time here. Alrighty, well, looks like that plan was a bust. No, I lost him. I lost him. Come on. What am I doing? That was a good fish, too. Here. Another striper boil in front of me. No, no, are you serious? She'll work. She'll work for sure. Okay. Let's get her measured. First fish of the day, baby. Let's let her go. Jeez. That's a freaking hardy Delta bass. Okay. Let's see if we can get any more off that point. Looks like there's a little school there. Let's see if we can get any more. I think the first one I hooked onto was bigger. I don't think she'll measure, but we'll check anyway. Jesus! Please do not shake. One thing I don't need is a hook in the hand today. And these BKK hooks are no joke too, so. I don't think this guy will measure, I'll be honest. Yeah, definitely not. Flopperini. Alright, let's see if we can get any more. That little point. Let's get going to our next destination. Well, we're back. There's a lot of grass on the side, so we're just, as I was saying, we're gonna stop by real quick here. Like I'm saying, only 1 or 2 punches and pitches at this little grass mat here. Just seeing what these little grass mats hold. We are at 8 feet of water, so hopefully punching in these little spots of grass might help us, but I don't know, we will see. I don't know if it shows up on the the camera or not, but there's a patch of grass here. Okay, let's get going. There's a lot of these splotches of grass, and I'm not willing to spend any more time on them, so let's get going. On our way to our second location, we see a overhanging tree, so we're gonna see if we can catch anything here just for a quick moment, and then after we can head over to our second location. We'll throw a frog here, we'll maybe cast the same throw in the jig, but we won't spend too much time here. Not really where we want to fish, but pink has been very popular this year, so just trying it out. Pink's not really a confidence color for me, it's more just it's popular this year, so we're just gonna see if we can catch any fish. The only other pink I kind of really trust is something like Morning Dawn, but Let's keep moving. Look, kitty cat. Hello, Mr. Kitty. Wow, small fish. There she goes. Oh, fish. Alright, let's keep going. Alrighty, well, we are nearing our second location. This second clump of Tule Islands. Let's see what we can catch out of here. I want to start with the frog, but the popper has been doing a really good job of catching fish. So we'll start with the popper, and if the popper doesn't produce, we'll go to the frog and then flip. We'll see what happens. Alright, well, let's get moving. Alright, let's get out of here. This is not a good area. It's super shallow, a lot of grass, but there's no fish, so no point in staying here. Alright, well, we found a pretty good looking area. We'll try fishing it, see how it fares. My only concern is this gavacho frog is so hard to squeeze. Striper? Yep, striper. Can you stop? Let me get these hooks out of you so I can keep freaking fishing. Jesus. Jace. Jace. Striper boy. Whoop, 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 whoop. little guy. Well, I know where they're staged up at. A little bit like, there's a hump right here, but they're kind of just chilling next to it. Never done before. Decranking on the California Delta. Yeah. My buddies are gonna freaking call me crazy when they see this video. Alright, well. Well, I'm catching fish, just not the right ones. That one's not even gonna measure. I didn't even know I hooked you, buddy. Another small jaw. Another little small one. No, not a good one. Well, I mean, they're here, just not catching the right ones. Another small one. Stop it. Stop it. probably was born this year. Forgot to record again, but little bass on the whopper plopper. I decided to just like kind of throw a whopper plopper while I go back to the tule clump on this kind of like flat bare bank kind of deal. Time to cut the chopper off and put the popper back on. That's a pleasant surprise. I didn't even see him pop my bait. It's definitely a fun little day out here. Woo. Good morning, everyone. I believe it's about a week after the Delta tournament. I always take a very long time doing these outros because I get lazy of editing, and editing takes a while. And then I always do my outros like after I'm done editing because it's the last thing I do. So it's about a week after the Delta tournament. Takes me also a good amount of time to figure out what I want to say in front of the camera, obviously. And yeah, so let's just get into the tournament. It was a not really a good tournament for me, but it was a fun tournament for me. Obviously I missed one on the frog earlier in the day, and throughout the day all we caught them on was popper. And then we did find that small little spot on the Delta where they're kind of sitting in the hump just eating bait deep, and surprisingly enough I was catching them on the deep crankbait and the jerkbait. Not surprising for the jerkbait, kind of surprising for the deep crankbait though, so that was what was surprising to me. But for the most part I enjoyed the Delta. I think every time I fish the Delta I learn something new. Still very inexperienced, even though I fish the Delta every now and then, and I probably have fished the Delta a lot more than any of the other lakes. The Delta is one of the few bodies of water where I'm still learning every single time I'm out there. A lot of people who fish out there like know how to fish the Delta and know like certain spots in the Delta to fish. I think like a lot of people went to Frank's on Hollands in that southern area. I know there was a group of people that went to Paradise, and they launched out of Paradise and fished White Slough and Disappointment, and I think those people actually were able to score and rank on the leaderboard. I went down the other way. Instead of going to White and Disappointment, I went down the Slough Paradise Slough. I don't know what it's called, but I went down that slough expecting there to be more bigger fish in that slough because there's less people fishing it. So that was not my thought process. But turns out that disappointment and white were probably the better idea, because I figured out that fishing that empty slough that I did the tournament day, there's not a lot of deep water access, and so when the tide was coming out, it got really shallow. Don't get me wrong, there was still fish, but I think there was more fish in the main channel where there's an actual like a drop off or some deeper water where the fish can actually retreat from the banks and stuff. So yeah, learning new techniques, you know, on the delta, learning that fish actually go to deep water on the delta, because my misconception of fishing the delta was that they're always shallow, they're always in the grass and whatnot, but this tournament showed me that they actually come off pretty far from the bank, even during high tide as well. So learning how to fish the delta slowly but surely. Chatterbaits staple on the delta, but I didn't catch any. I actually lost my chatterbait. I snapped off when I was casting it. Another one was obviously a frog. Frog hasn't been getting hit too much this year, apparently. This season, I mean. Obviously the frog's always gonna get bit, but not as much as last year, apparently. A lot on the popper. Okay, like the one thing I learned about the delta too is that they'll come out of the grass, and the grass is a lot deeper than I assume, and they'll actually come up and straight up annihilate the popper out of like 10 feet of water, and even if there's grass like right under the surface. So popper was a big player in my fishing day. Tried the spinnerbait, didn't get anything on the spinnerbait. Got some on the jerkbait, the Megabass Vision 110 Junior, in the deeper diving version, that is. And then deep cranking. So that Bill Lewis MR6 got my first, I believe, crankbait fish on that striper. And I kind of put me into a thought process of, hey, they might be biting bait offshore deeper. So I switched over to a wiggle wart, and then I switched off to the tactical DD because I was assuming they would be deeper, and so I put on something deeper because my crankbait rod is a shallow. It's meant for a shallow diving crankbait. It's a little bit stiffer of a crankbait rod, but it's still like soft enough to keep the fish pegged. So it's not really meant for deeper diving. So it did the job fine, but it definitely prevented my deeper diving crankbaits from going deeper. So I switched over to that tactical D to try and get to that 14 feet depth. And yeah, I caught those fish, but just not the right fish. There was definitely fish around that area, just not the ones that I needed, but it is what it is. So that was my experience out on the Delta. I hope when I go out next time on the Delta, I'll be able to catch some nice fish, because the only nice fish I caught was that popper fish in the beginning, and that one fish I lost on the frog. So yeah, I know there are still a couple Yakka bass tournaments coming up. I've just been preventing myself from participating in the Yakka bass. I personally just feel like it's not justifiable for me to go out and fish these tournaments, not having enough experience, not having enough time to pre-fish to properly actually compete. And so I'm practically just giving away my my money, because there are a lot of better anglers out there that fish these lakes with the proper tools and basically place all the time. So I'm not saying that like you need this and that. It's just I'm inexperienced, and I don't feel like it's justifiable for me to do all these things, go to these trips and like compete but like not know, you know? So I feel like I need a little bit more experience under my belt before I start competing. The only reason why I do the Delta yak basses is because the Delta's in my backyard, and I want to learn the Delta because the Delta is really big, and even if I'm not competing, I'm probably going to go to the Delta anyways because it's in my backyard. So the Delta is something I'm okay with competing in, but anywhere else it's just like Don Pedro's a far drive, Maloney's is a far drive, Barry S is a far drive, Clear Lakes is an even farther drive. So those just are just not worth me competing because I have to spend entry, and then I have to spend parking, and then I have to spend gas. So it's just not worth my time at the moment. When I get more time and practice and understand how to fish lakes properly, I will compete in those more often. But as for right now, I don't have the proper experience, so I'm just gonna chill out a bit. Competing has definitely put into my perspective that I need to learn a lot more about fishing, because I don't have as much experience, and I don't have as much experience or skill as I thought I did. And that's because I've been fishing with myself, and that's all I really know. So competing definitely put in perspective that there are levels to this, basically, and I pick and choose my battles from here on out, not try to compete in everything. But competing's fun. I definitely recommend it at least once. And yeah, I guess that's it for this video. If you guys have any ideas on what you guys want to see, like tackle boxes or tackle storages I have, or my setups and whatnot, me going in depth with my fishing gear, or what my thought process is, like any kind of video ideas, drop in the comments below and I'll definitely keep in mind, or maybe even make a video on it. As of right now, any ideas that I don't really have any ideas right now for any videos, but I do want to talk a little bit more in depth with information, and I do want to talk a bit more on like things that I have and my mindset and processes. Like, I just like talking fishing, and so I think that'll be a nice break instead of just fishing videos, and just kind of fill you in on what I think when it comes to fishing, and why I have certain things and why I don't like doing certain things and whatnot. But for the most part, I'm just coming up with ideas to make content, and try not to overwork myself, because at the end of the day, I'm just making YouTube just for fun, and I like watching myself like go back and fishing, and watching myself go through the experience of catching fish, blow ups, and setting hooks and stuff. So this YouTube stuff is just more of a fun thing kind of for me, not really content creation for money or getting famous or anything. I just like having fun. I just like fishing and whatnot. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, or not, do your thing, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.